Sairam brother, can we start the session? Sairam Prashant brother. So, brother, can we start the session?
Yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes.
okay.
I was on mute. Sorry. Yeah.
No worries, brother. Manasmi, are you there?
Sairam brother,
Yeah,
yes.
please, could you start with the introduction of the Prashant sir?
Yeah, sure.
Your video is not visible. Yeah,
Yes.
thank you, Sairam.
Sairam to all. Let us start with our regular prayers. Om. 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 साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वः प्रचोदयात् ॐ साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वः प्रचोदयात् ॐ साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वः प्रचोदयात् Sai Ram. Invoking Bhagwan's guidance and blessings. Welcome, dear brothers and sisters, for the second value-added session of the data science course. It is my pleasure to introduce the speaker for the day, Mr. Prashant Durgam. Sir is a passionate coach and trainer and have been in the field of learning and development since 2005. He has an overall experience of 17 years, of which he has been into facilitating number of training programs for more than 10 years. To his credit, Sir has been certified as Associate Certified Coach from International Coaching Federation and also Certified Behavioral Analyst from the Maximum Potential Incorporation. He had trained more than 10,000 enthusiastic learners over the years and facilitated many learning programs in the area of personal and interpersonal effectiveness in various organizations like Advanta Seeds, Birlasoft, Biological E, Deloitte, Oracle, Tata Foundation, Wipro Technologies, and many more. Without much delay, I now call upon Sir to kindly take over and address the gathering. Over to you, sir. Thank you.
Om Shri Sai Ram. My humble pranams at the lotus feet of our beloved Swami. Thank you very much for the introduction, sister. Just give me a feedback. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yeah, a little bit visible. I'm saying little bit because there is a power cut at my place. So, am I visible?
Yes, you are.
Okay, great. So, welcome friends to the value-added session on creating synergy at work. So, straight away, what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up the agenda. What is that you are going to see in the next, 1 hour, 15 minutes or so? Creating synergy, I am going to introduce to you 7 steps through which we can create synergy at work, at wherever you are with people. So these are the 7 steps we have to run through. Out of the 7 steps, I am going to focus and elaborate on 2 steps which are very important, because discussing all the 7 steps in detail might not be possible. So there are 2 steps most important. Those 2 steps I'm going to discuss with you, and I'm going to give you some tips and techniques on how to demonstrate this at work and in life, so that we create a synergy. So this is what we have in store for you. So just allow me do this. I am shifting my place. Just give me a moment. Yeah. Okay, hope I'm little more visible this time. So what I'm going to do is, as I said, these are the 7 steps which we are going to see and discuss today to create synergy. Before I start, I just wanted to start off with a short story and get your understanding from the story, and then we'll get into those 7 steps. This is a story of a gentleman who worked in a manufacturing company, and he worked there and he was so successful, and one day he got retired, and after post-retirement he went to a beautiful place. He started living there. He grew very old, and one day he passed away. And he passed away and he went up, the worlds above. So he went there, and to his surprise, when he went there, he found 2 big palaces. And right in front of those 2 palaces, there was a security person guarding near the gates. Security person at the gates. And when the security person saw this person, he got excited and said, "Sir, welcome, welcome." And this person was wondering what are these 2 palaces are all about. And that's when the person inquired, "Hey, can you tell me what are these 2 palaces?" Then the security guard, with a lot of excitement, he said, "Sir, one palace is hell, another one is heaven." Oh, this gentleman got surprised. "Oh my God, I'm in a place where there is one hell and another one is heaven." He was wondering where he should be going. That's when the security person said, "Sir, that day happens to be the birthday of the security person." So that's what he was sharing. "Sir, today is my birthday, and whoever comes first on my birthday to this place, I give them an offer." Today, being the security person's birthday, he gave the gentleman an offer. He said, "Sir, you can choose today to live in hell or heaven. It's a choice I'm giving you," is what he said. Wow. Now everybody are wondering, isn't it a wonderful offer? You do whatever you want here, and when you go up, somebody says, "Choose hell or heaven." Great offer. Now, when this offer was given to this gentleman, this person started thinking. He said, "Okay, before I choose to live in hell or heaven, can you just take me there? Can you show me?" Then the security person got surprised and said, "Oh, no problem, sir. Well, you can come in." What else, this person can ask? Because he worked as a quality control engineer all his life. All his life he worked as a quality control engineer. When he went up, before choosing, he wanted to have a sample of it. This is what quality control engineers does. They do it. They want to sample. So he wanted a sample. The security person took this person to the first palace. He opened the doors. When he opened the doors, what he saw, there was a big hall. Right in the center of the hall, there was a big table, round table. Around the table, people were sitting. But this is little different. The ambience is, people were very sad, gloomy. They were lean, pale, kind of outlook they had, because these people were stuck to the chairs, and the chairs were stuck to the ground, and they had long spoons attached to their hands. And right on the table, there was a big pot with never-ending food, the Akshay Patra, never-ending food. And there was a lot of aroma around, one of the best dishes you can dole out from the, Akshay Patra. But these people were looking at each other. They were tired, they are pale, they are lean, they were shouting, they are cursing, they are, abusing each other. They are sad, very sad in this place. And then this person looked at the security person and said, "Can you take me to the second palace?" So the security person said, "Okay, great." They went to the second palace. The security person opened the door. My God, same situation. There was a table. Around the table, people were sitting. They were stuck to chairs. Chairs were stuck to the ground, and they had long spoons attached or stuck to their hands. And there was a Akshay Patra in the center of the table with never-ending food. Lot of good food was there, and the ambience was little different. The ambience was, here people were laughing, they're enjoying, they're making fun of each other. Most of them were healthy and very healthy. They were having a lot of fun there, and there was a lot of happiness around. Oh my God, this person looked at it and said, maybe this is heaven and the first one is hell. And the security person smiled at him. And I'll pause the story here. I don't know what he chose that day, whether hell or heaven. We'll probably talk about it. But right now, I want to open with a question to this forum. I want to open it out for your point of views. The question is, what is the difference between hell and heaven? Why the one palace became hell, or why it was perceived as hell, the second one as a heaven? Anybody who is willing to talk can raise their hand so that I can call their name out and then they can speak out. So raise their hand so that I'll take your name. There is an option called raising hand. If not, you can, DSG1L11. Yes.
Sairam brother. Akshay Patra is an item which doubles the thing that you put in it. So the people who were putting happiness in it were getting double of happiness, and the people who were who were putting sad in it were getting double of sadness. Was it the difference?
Oh, very interesting, sister. What's your name?
Preetika, Sairam.
Sairam, what's your Deepika?
Preetika. Preeti.
Preetika. Oh, great, Preeti. Hey, thanks for wonderful learning. I didn't know till now that in Akshay Patra, you have to put something and it grows in abundance. Great. Yeah. I don't know, but could be. I mean, very interesting, very, interesting point of view. You said probably in one palace, they were putting happiness, hence they were reaping happiness. Yeah. Maybe the first palace were doing that. Interesting. Keep it up. Thank you very much. Sairam. Anybody else? Yeah. Anybody else?
Sairam, can you hear me?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I can say that in hell, people are thinking about themselves. I mean, like selfish. So they can't eat with the hands because the hands were tied with the spoons. As it hits to other spoon, we can't eat it. Coming to the heaven, the people are so happy and so healthy in look wise and also physical and the mental, because they share the things to other guys, like as though the spoons are tied to the hands, they feed to other person, say other person feeds to him. That's the way they can eat the food as well as they are so happy.
Very interesting. What's your name, sister?
Hemalata.
Hemalata, thank you very much. Hema says, maybe in one palace, that so-called hell, people were selfish. And Hema is saying the logic behind this, see, there is a food right in front of them, but there are long spoon. Imagine you have a long spoon, you're putting that spoon into the bowl, you're trying to eat, it doesn't come back to you. It goes somewhere else. And they were focused on themselves. Hence, they were not able to eat and they were very sad. Probably in heaven, they did the same thing. They put the spoon, it was going somewhere else. Maybe they thought, man, it is not coming here. The spoon is going somewhere else. So they must have got into an agreement. Hello, boss. My spoon is coming towards you. Whenever you're hungry, just tell me so that I can feed you. And your spoon is coming towards me. When I'm hungry, I'll shout at you. You can feed me. Can we agree upon that? That's how probably they fed each other. Is what Hema is saying. Isn't it interesting? There could be a lot of viewpoints here. But when our physiological needs are taken care of, that's when we think of something else, that roti, kapda, makan kind of thing, right? Food is very important. And that was right in front of them, abundance of food. But still they were not happy. They were not healthy. They were lean, pale, because they were unable to eat, because they were focusing on themselves. They were trying to feed themselves. And in heaven, all they did was they understood this is a problem, and they started feeding each other. And that's how it became heaven. Both interesting answer, Preetika and Hema. As you said, let's go back to that person. We don't know what he chose. Maybe he must have chosen, heaven for sure. But let's look at the, analogy. Let's draw a parallels. Whether there is hell or heaven, we don't know. But you and I know there are certain people in this world, in a given situation, they create a hell out of it. And there are certain set of people in the same given situation, they create a heaven. If you go back to the palaces, situation is same. Same, Akshay Patra, same table, same, they were all stuck and they had long spoons in both the places. Every situation is same. But the way they approached the situation, the way the outcome, the result they created was different. It's all about what you do with the situation is what they are saying. So heaven, they fed each other. Hell, they were focusing on self. If you focus, if you look at our own situation, there are some people who create hell. There are some people who create in the same situation heaven. Now we have to ask ourselves a question. What does it, whenever we are with people, what is that we want to create, hell or heaven? For creating hell, we need not sit in this workshop and talk about it because we know how to create hell. Same case with heaven. We need not really discuss about how to create heaven when we are working with people, being with people. We understand that, but sometimes we forget. And in this session, we are going to discuss about the 7 steps through which we can create that synergy. And synergy is like, being in the heaven, helping each other, collaborating and living harmoniously in life at workplaces. And if you're choosing to create heaven at workplaces in life, then let's go through these 7 steps and see how we can demonstrate this in our workplace so that we don't create hell for self and others, but we create heaven. If you're ready to explore the 7 steps, you can use the chat box and type yes, 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 and raise your hand so that I get a feedback that you are ready for the 7 steps. Okay, let's see what are the 7 steps. Okay, let's go. I'm sharing the screen for you people. Here we go. And we have this, creating synergy at work. So brotherliness, stronger relationship. How do we create? These are the 7 steps, friends. Any sister, can you unmute and help me read out what are the 7 steps?
Sairam.
Saram sister, your name?
My name is Sushmita.
Yes, Sushmita. Go ahead, just read out the 7 steps slowly, Sushmita.
The first one being goals, then comes roles, the third one being rules, fourth one is building trust, then comes clear communication, sixth being resolving conflicts, and the last being celebrating success.
Wonderful, wonderful, Sushmita. Now, if you look at team, these 3 things, goals, roles, rules, fall in our self area. I have to understand what is the goal when I work with people. I should understand what is my role when I'm working with people. I should understand what are the rules which we need to agree upon so that I adhere to those rules as a self. This is about all self, right? Now, the fourth step, very interesting, building trust, is in the middle. And the rest three steps, if you look at clear communication, resolving conflict, celebrating success. Now, if you look at on a line, this side, the first three steps in personal effectiveness, you have to be personally effective on that. In the middle is building trust, and the next three is in interpersonal effectiveness. When you meet with people, how do you deal with them? That communication, conflicts, and celebration is in interpersonal effectiveness. Both personal effectiveness and interpersonal effectiveness is bridged by trust. So when self has to be with people, there should be trust in between. So that's the link here if you look at the 7 steps. So what I'm going to do today is I will spend and explore and help you understand how we can build a trust in relationships, whether it is work or in life. When I say life, personal life, right? And then clear communication, I don't want to talk much because I want you to go back to the previous session and do what is discussed in the previous session so that you can clearly communicate. But today I'm going to explore a little bit on resolving conflict. Any amount of trust, any amount of communication, still conflicts might happen. How do we address and resolve is what we are going to talk. So just to run through goals. Sushmita, can you unmute yourself?
Yes, Sairam, brother.
Yeah. See, I'll just give you an analogy. Do you like any sport, team sport?
Team sport, yes.
Which sport?
Indoor game, caroms.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But even indoor games is team sport. At least max you can have 2 people. I believe. Yeah. Any outdoor sport, Sushmita?
Team sport. I used to play volleyball during my schooling days.
Wow, that's great, Sushmita. So, were you a spiker or that person who lifts the ball?
The person who lifts the ball, I was always at the corner, the last person to stand in the team.
Okay. So doing service and doing wonderful, very interesting. Now look at this team sport, whether it is cricket or football. Mostly men in or boys in India like cricket. Or volleyball is also a wonderful team game. Yes or no? There is certain specific thing, right? You have certain goals. What you need to do, that scoring points. When you look at football, is it team sport? Yes or no? Now, this team sport is played without any specific objective or goals. Imagine football without a goal post. Would you enjoy watching football without a goal post?
No.
People are just playing, hitting here and there. So we might not enjoy. There is a goal post, and you say that this team has to put goals in, ball in that goal post so that you score and then you win, and that's the same objective with the other team. The same way, I'm just trying to give you an analogy. When we are working with people, especially at workplace, understand the team goal. Hey, as a team, what we are supposed to do, what is that objective? When you are not clear, try to go discuss with your manager, colleagues, and try to understand the goal first, because the difference between a group of people and a team, somebody defined in a beautiful way, a group and a team, when can you call a group as a team is when all the members have one common objective. These are all called teams: football team, cricket team, volleyball team. Why they are team? They have one goal. They are all aligned to that one goal. So in workplaces, I think we should understand the team goal, get clarified, and align ourselves to the team goal so that we work in unison. So this is what as a self I should be doing. Even in personal life, when we get into any relationship, it's good to sit together, understand the purpose of that relationship, understand the goal of that relationship. That can help you, synergize. That's the first thing. Second is roles. As Sushmita said, she's the last person in the court, or lifting the ball or doing the service, or those kind of things. Even in football, you have forward, center forward, or striker, defenders and goalkeepers. Each one of them have their own role. There, you must have seen in cricket also: opener, first down, all-rounder, wicket keeper, bowlers. It's not that everybody ends up bowling, everybody ends up batting. They do that batting, but they are not specialists. The same way, when we are working in teams, whether it in life, personal life, at workplace, understand our role. Okay, I understand my goal. What is that I am supposed to do in this particular team so that I contribute to the team success, contribute to the team effort? So get clarified about your role. You need not do everything. No, what you're good at, they give you the job responsibility, you are put into it. Try to understand that role so that you can give your best in that role, because you have that capability, skill set to do that. That's role, Sushmita. And the third one is rules. So Sushmita, whenever you played volleyball, were there any rules there?
Yes, sir, definitely. Definitely.
Imagine you guys play volleyball without rules. What happens?
There is no point in enjoying the ultimate winning of the game. Like when we are just playing the game haphazardly without any rules, then there is no purpose of playing, that I feel. It's just for the sake of fun that we are playing rather than a very strategic way.
Yeah, absolutely, Sushmita. Even for fun, people might not enjoy if there is no rule. Imagine the striker can hit the ball anywhere, somewhere. Not even it's not in the court yard or court, but he is hitting somewhere else. You might not enjoy. Boss, this is a court. If we say no, I hit into the people stand, whoever are sitting, you might not enjoy that. Yes or no? DSG one. Somebody raised their hand. You want to speak up?
Yes, Sairam. Without the rules, the game will not be that game anymore.
That game is not anymore a game. You don't enjoy the game, actually. Whether it is football, any game, right? The same way, even in relationship. If you look at traffic, traffic signal or traffic rules. With rules, there is so much of chaos. Imagine without rules. When there are rules, when there are traffic signal posts in traffic junctions, in the at the junctions, we need not have a traffic cop, but people are not self-disciplined. So still the traffic cop stands there. So with rules, there is so much of chaos. Imagine without rules. And especially at workplaces, people come from different background, different mindset, different educational background, cultural background, nationalities, regional differences. If they don't agree upon a set of rules to work together, it can lead to a lot of chaos. And that's the reason the rules become important here. Now, rules is not like, there are certain rules which the corporate, the organization would set up. But whenever you're working with a set of people in your home, in any given relationship or at workplace, we should set up some rules. What could be those rules? I'll just give you a few examples so that you can build up your own set of rules and get into an agreement with people who are there in the team and adhere to the rules and play by the game. You will enjoy it. Rule could be one. Hey, at workplaces especially when you're discussing on a problem, set up a rule saying that, hey, everybody should be given an opportunity to speak out. That's the first one. Second, we should not put down anyone's ideas. Don't put down any ideas. Ask people whatever they have in mind, let them speak up. No put downs. If you disagree, you can ask questions. If you disagree, you can ask questions. That's the third one. If somebody is not speaking up, fine, you can give them some time and go back to them later, or whatever is their convenience, you can, do what, their convenience is. Could be fourth rule. Fifth rule, when somebody is speaking, please listen, understand. So some rules has to be set up. Now, when you set up the rules, the beauty of the rules is, if you have set up these rules and we got into some discussions and all, and if somebody is violating the rule, we can always raise hand say, hey, Prashant, hey, hold back. Did we agree that, that when somebody is speaking, you should just listen, and when your turn comes, you should be speaking? We agreed, right? When we put this reminder, there is a greater chance or greater probability that the person would become mute and say, okay, fine, I understand. I did agree that. But imagine you don't set up rules, and when somebody is speaking, somebody in between starts interjecting, stopping that person becomes difficult. Excuse me, let him finish. He says, no, I have important, because you didn't agree any rule. Trying to enforce rule during the game is not a great idea. Set up some rules, agree, all the parties should agree and play the game. It's like Kaun Banega Crorepati. Every time Amitabh Bachchan talks about those rules, yes or no? These days, probably he might say, hey, right, but if you have any clarification, I'll say it once again. But tell the rules and then get into the game. I just want Sushmita to talk about, is it making sense, Sushmita?
Yes, absolutely, sir. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think any given relationship, it could be a spousal relationship, it could be a sibling relationship, it could be, workplace relationship, any relationship, it is pretty important for us to set up some rules. Great. So with this, now what I'm going to do is I'll spend a little time on trust, because now we understand we should be clear of the goal. We should understand our role, and then we should agree upon some rules, set up some rules and get that agreement with the other parties and start playing the game. But when you're working with people, it's very dynamic. Every person is a little different. Look at our own place. Your sibling is different, your parents are different, your friends are different. There are some people who are just like you. It's a combination, right? So trust becomes an integral part of it. So what I'm going to do is, there's a lot of things we can discuss on trust, but I'm going to give you one simple technique. Before that, let's get into some discussion and make it conversational. Sushmita, what is your understanding of trust?
My understanding of trust would be like, when somebody is telling you something, say, for example, a team member is explaining you something on the project, or it could be anything, it can be even the relationship aspect as well. When you have to trust the other person should convince you in such a way that you are going to lead the opposite person in a right way, or maybe like you are going to see that that work is going to be done in a very proper way without any chaos. So all these few aspects together build trust. It's not just one thing.
Very interesting. So somebody should be trusting us, and or I should be trusting them, so that it should enable us to complete the work. Great. Anybody else? Wonderful, Sushmita. Very interesting one. Hema, Preetika, the DSG 9L01K. Anyone? Take a shot. Go ahead. Somebody was speaking, trying to speak.
You should be able to create trust in a team. Like you should, maintain the discipline and create the trust among the other team members that you can do it.
Yeah. Tell them that they can do it.
That, yeah.
Very interesting. Who's this?
Preetika, sir.
Preetika, wonderful, Preetika. Thank you very much. Let's, very interesting, definitions or understanding people have shared. Now, as you said, trust is nothing but at workplaces especially. trust is nothing but having confidence in others. I'm saying interpersonal trust. Trusting yourself means having confidence in self. Trusting others means having confidence in them. Like you said, I have confidence. I know you can do it. There is a greater chance that people end up doing it. Now look at this. Opposite to trust is distrust. Distrust is suspicion. When you suspect, my God, I don't know whether he'll do it or not. First of all, you don't end up giving him the work. Are you getting me? So having confidence in others at workplace is called trust. And how do we build this trust is a big question now. I understand, okay, having confidence, but how can I make sure that I trust him? How do others trust me? How do others have confidence in me? Kya kare to? Yen cheste avutundi idi? How do I build? Is a big question. I just generally I do this activity in a in-person training, but you must have seen people doing it. There were some viral videos also. We make one person stand. Behind that person, we make another two people stand. We ask the first person who is standing in front to extend his arms and fall back. It's called fallback activity. And we tell the two people at the back to hold that person when he falls back. While I'm saying, just think about the video which you came across, or think about the incident which you have seen or which you personally did. So when we ask this person to fall back, he would generally look back and look at people and say, hey, are you going to hold me? We don't say anything, you just fall back, they are there. So initially in the first attempt, they just don't fall back, but they take their step also back, try to, make sure they are safe. But we tell them, no, you should not take your step back. All you need to do is free fall. Maybe second, third attempt, they start doing it. Second attempt, when they fall, they hold it hold. Then third attempt, fourth attempt, when fifth, sixth attempt, they say, it's very good here, I'll just fall, you hold, kind of thing. Now, this is what happens. Initially, people have little suspicion, but the suspicion goes away over a period of time. How? By the demonstrated capability of the people who are in the back. They demonstrated their capability saying, hey, when you fall, we are here to hold. But imagine if these two people say also to that person, hey, don't worry, we are there to hold. He might not trust, but because of his experience of somebody holding, he starts trusting more. So there is a very interesting definition Stephen R. Covey has given us in 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. He said, trust builds from trustworthiness. Trust builds from trustworthiness. If somebody has to trust me, I have to be worthy enough. If somebody I have to trust them, they should be trustworthy. They should be worthy, right? And that's when it's a two-way street. That's when there would be trust in teams, trust in relationships. Now the question is, how do I build my worthiness? How do I demonstrate that I am worthy enough? Is a big question. You demonstrate, or we demonstrate our worthiness by our demonstrated capability. Somebody said, sometimes if somebody comes to you and says, hey, don't, I'm there, you can trust me, you can trust me. When people speak out, you can trust, if they say you can trust me, that's when we doubt, can I really trust him? But once you experience some wonderful things done by that person, you don't have that suspicion. So trust builds from trustworthiness. We have to demonstrate that worthiness. What is that worthiness? What are the simple little things we should do in relationships so that our worth goes up and people start trusting us? And when people start trusting you, let me tell you, it could be one of the very important steps towards creating heaven in relationships. If you are really interested in knowing the simple steps on building worth, building trust, being trustworthy, raise your hand. Say yes in the chat box. I am going to help you understand. Great. So I'm going to talk about a concept from the book 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. This is called emotional bank deposits. I'll go back to Sushmita. Sushmita, let's get into a little conversation here.
Yes, sir.
So we are going to talk about emotional bank deposits. So I'll give you an analogy here. Do you have a savings bank account, Sushmita?
Yes, I do have. Yeah.
Oh, you're saying so confidently. You're not even worried whether I would end up asking money from you.
No,
So
no.
nice of you. So, can you tell me what do you do with the savings bank account?
Savings bank account is something that we have it like we think about future expenditures or whatever it could be. Like we never know what is tomorrow, like what's going to happen the next minute. So all our savings, it could be for the purpose of education, medical expenses, anything we plan, we segregate and we do a saving. So that is how we maintain our savings account in that way.
Yeah, absolutely. Very well said. I use that word called savings bank account because that's a regular terminology used by bankers. I was in a bank, so when you join an organization, they ask you to open the account, right? And every month, what you get is
The pay, the
paid.
salary. Yeah.
So what happens in banking terminology? In your savings bank, what you do is you
Deposit. Yeah.
deposit. Okay, you only deposit, or do you do something else?
We do withdrawals even.
Whenever necessary, do you withdraw?
Yes, we do. Yes.
So deposits and withdrawal. When do you call your account, savings bank account, as a healthy account?
When the withdrawal is purposeful,
Okay, very
like
interesting. When the withdrawal is purposeful.
yes,
So can I also say when there are more deposits and less withdrawals in a banking context?
yes, quite
See,
yes,
I can withdraw only when there is a deposit money there. So imagine I am depositing more but withdrawing less. This is a healthy account. And if you no deposit, if you start withdrawal, if you have an overdraft facility, you can go into minus. Otherwise, zero, you cannot withdraw. Yes or no, sir? It's a zero balance account.
yes. Yes.
Very interesting. Thanks, Sushmita. The same way, stay with me in the conversation. The same way, this concept is called emotional bank deposits. Sushmita, can you name your close friend, any one friend?
Purnima?
Purnima. Is Purnima around in this session?
No, she's not here.
Okay.
She stays in a.
So, let's take the example of Sushmita and Purnima. Sushmita and Purnima are friends. Purnima is holding Sushmita's emotional bank account with her. And Sushmita is holding Purnima's emotional bank account with her. So each of them are holding each other's account with them. Now, what happens in this concept, if the trust has to be more, Sushmita should deposit in the account, in her account, which Purnima is holding every now and then. The same way, Purnima should deposit in her account, which Sushmita is holding every now and then. Now, the question is, what are these deposits? Sushmita, did you understand what I said?
Yes, I understood. Yes.
Great. Now, let's look at deposits. Now, Sushmita and Purnima are holding accounts, each of their accounts with each other. So, Sushmita starts some deposits in our account, which Purnima is holding. So what are those? This is the first one. Sushmita, can you read out?
Keeping your word.
So Sushmita, whenever she says, "Hey Purnima, tomorrow 10 o'clock I'm coming. We can do a review of what is being taught, or let's go to a movie." She gives a word. She makes a promise, and she lives up to that word. And Sushmita does every time whatever she promises, she delivers it, or whatever word she says, she lives by it. And when she does it, it's a deposit which she is doing in her account, which Purnima is holding. This is the first deposit. Second deposit.
Being
Can
a
you read? Being a trusted confidant. What is being a trusted confidant means? Purnima comes and talks to Sushmita, a very close friend of Sushmita. Purnima says, hey, I want to share something, which please keep it as secret. Huh? Don't tell to anybody. She shares her personal secret. And what Sushmita says is she keeps it as in her treasure chest and she never talks about that information to anyone else. And when she does that, she becomes a trusted confidant. And that's a wonderful thing. Yes or no?
Yes.
But most of the time, Sushmita, in relationship, the problem happens because of the second thing. I come to Sushmita and, Sushmita comes to me and says, Prashant, this information I'm sharing with you, but please don't share it with anybody else. So A says to B goes to C and says, hey, don't tell to anybody. I know something about that A, and this is what he told to C. C goes back and cross checks with A. Hey, I heard that you told B about this information. And A comes back to B, and then they shout and have fight. And B goes to C, and C goes to A, and total three of them have a problem in their relationship. Yes or no?
Yes, this happens. Yeah.
This happens in our. You feel, I never thought this would happen. I just said it. I didn't clearly mention everything. But boss, they said, don't say, that's it. So being a trusted confidant is an amazing thing in relationships. And they would love you for this. And they would come and talk to you more and more because you are a trusted confidant. It's a deposit you're doing. Third one.
Paying genuine compliments.
Yeah. Sushmita, whenever somebody compliments you, how do you feel?
We feel overwhelmed.
Yeah, you feel overwhelmed, you feel good, yes or no?
Yes.
That's the best feeling anybody can generate in anybody, yes or no?
True.
True. If I make somebody happy by complimenting, they become happy, but even I also become happy because they are happy. This is a part of happiness. So but the very interesting thing is they just said genuine compliments. For saying, hey, you're looking great, the shirt is good. No. One of the ways we can make a compliment genuine is, for example, if you're saying your shirt is good, give them a reason. Why I say this is because this color is a very interesting one. It's looking really good on you. You're qualifying that particular compliment. Just don't say good shirt, you're looking great. No, you're looking great, man. Especially well tucked and your shoes polished. Whatever you qualify the statement, it is very important. Great work. Don't say it. Just great work is not a good work. Hey, good work. Especially the kind of focus you took and with zero error you were able to complete. I really liked it. Great work, man. Keep it up. This is called genuine compliment. You know what you are saying and why you are saying, and you are elaborating it. And this is a deposit in the people's account. So the next one, let's go now.
Acknowledging their successes.
Acknowledging their successes. When somebody is successful, go and enjoy with them, be with them. Be a part of their success. That's a wonderful thing. It's a deposit. This is a fifth one rather.
Encouraging and supporting them to realize their potential.
Yeah. A pat on the back and somebody is down. Sushmita goes to Purnima and says, hey, no, I know it is difficult, but I've seen in the past you did overcome this kind of situation. You can do it, Purnima. And that's the best thing which you can do to Purnima. And it's a deposit. That's what we are supposed to do.
Listening and taking an interest.
Hey, when somebody comes and talks to you, please sit down, park yourself and listen. It's a deposit with interest. Listen with interest, but don't ask interest. It's not that money interest, but being interested in others. Yeah.
Compassionately telling the truth, even if it's hard to take.
Yeah. Last time, the 3-step technique, right? Assertiveness, 3-step technique, use it. That's the best way of compassionately telling the truth. Initially, even if few people might get hurt, but later they come and say, hey, Sushmita, good that you told me. Because of that, I changed. Because of that, I did my work in a different way. They'll, be happy. They compliment you for that. So compassionately tell the truth, even if it's a little hard to take. And the last one.
Apologizing when you're wrong.
See, when you realize that you're on the wrong side, your word is wrong, your statement is wrong, your work is wrong, just Put up your hands and say, I'm really sorry for what I've done. And this is an amazing deposit. Now, these kind of deposits, if you start doing, you start building up your worth. Now, for example, what is worthiness? I can always trust if in the past, Sushmita never leaked my secrets. I can go and without any doubt, I can share my secrets. If Sushmita, in the past, if I observed most of the time, she never came late once promised, I go out and be confident that she would arrive. And when Sushmita gives a compliment, I know it is from the heart. And Sushmita wants me to be successful because she enjoys my success. So these all things are deposits, and I start trusting Sushmita because of her worthiness. She demonstrated that worthiness consistently over a period of time. And this is how trust is built, friends. Is it making sense, Sushmita? Your thoughts?
Yes, sir, absolutely. Like I said, it's not just one thing that builds trust on the other person. It's a cumulative thing of all these.
All this. Yeah. But let me tell you, knowingly, unknowingly, we withdraw. Yes or no? We do withdrawals. What could be those withdrawals? I'll just run through it. Lying, quite opposite, breaking your promises, taking your frustrations out on others, being disrespectful, publicly judging them. No, I know you're the worst guy, kind of thing. That's a judging them, talking behind their back. You go and do little chit chat at their back. Especially they're bad. If you're doing good at their back, good, but they are talking bad in their absence. That's the worst thing. Not recognizing when something is important to them. You're not even sensitive to their needs. You're not even inconveniencing yourself to help them out. These are all withdrawals. Knowingly, unknowingly, we might do some withdrawals. Sometimes we may take out our frustration. There might be a situation where Sushmita must have shouted on Purnima. Yes or no, Sushmita? Maybe once or I don't know, but you should tell me.
My lab days, yes.
But still this relationship is stronger because if there are more deposits than withdrawals, the relationship is healthy. More deposits, first of all, I don't keep my word. I am not a trusted, confident, but I withdraw. The relationship is in negative. More deposits, few withdrawals, still you can have a better relationship because they know, I know Sushmita is not like this, but maybe I might have pissed her out. That's the reason she shouted at me. Otherwise, she's nice. They'll take everything in the right way because of your deposit, more deposits than withdrawals. Now, this is a concept which I wanted to share with you on building trust with people, friends. So, Sushmita, I just wanted to know from you, what is that one thing which you want to start from today consciously in your relationship as a deposit? So let me put this question to you. What is that one thing which you do, which you want to continue? What is that one thing you probably used to do, but now you've discontinued, but you want to restart from today or start fresh from today? You can say it.
Maybe being thoughtful.
Being thoughtful, yeah, that's the last one. Being thoughtful.
Yes, and also listening and taking interest. Like there are certain times when I just listen and forget there. I don't try to help them resolve that issue or whatever problem they are facing at that point of time. It could be because of my busy schedule or anything. So now I feel this deposit is also equally important as others are.
Wonderful, Sushmita. Wish you all the very best. Keep doing it. Can I get anyone, sister, brother, anybody who would like to say, hey, Prashant, this one thing I want to restart or start fresh or continue doing it? Yeah. I want one person to share apart from Sushmita. One way I get to know that you are there listening to me and understood this. So let me pick up then. If you are not going to DS, okay, Satvika, B Satvika.
Good evening, sir.
Yes, good evening.
I think apologizing when you're wrong, sir.
Apologizing when you're wrong. You want to start it? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Wonderful, Satvika. Keep doing it. Wish you all the very best.
Thank you,
Now,
sir.
out of many ways of building trust, this is one way you can always do it, friends. So being trustworthy can generate trust, and trust is always a two-way street. It's a two-way street. And when we start doing the best thing is, let's start from our side before we expect from others. When I become more trustworthy through my word, being a confidant, giving compliments, apologizing, in the relationship, you will start seeing others reciprocating, and that's how we strengthen our relationships. And this aspect of building trust, will help us create synergy. So I'll pause here. If you have any questions, anything to say, ask, you can do it before I get into the next aspect, which is called conflict resolution in the next 15 minutes. So I'm pausing here, and for some seconds, if you have any questions, you can ask me. Anything you want to share, you can very well do that.
Sairam, brother.
Sairam.
Sushmita here.
Yes, Sushmita.
Okay. Here I can say, means like from my regular experiences with higher team members of mine, see, if it is like manager or like a more experienced person in team, if we say anything, means like either it is with knowledge or with respect, or keeping up to have a good to a team rapport, like that, if I keep anything in front of the team, then I see like not acceptance, means like they can't accept that. One way it is like they might, I saw that they might take this as like means I may withhold the team.
Mm-hmm.
So these type of things I have seen at least in 5 or 6 experiences of my regular job. So how to overcome this? These are also one of the type of conflicts I feel.
Yeah. Good that you've asked this question. So this is a conflict kind of situation, right?
Yeah.
So just to clarify my understanding, sister, you are saying when I start doing certain good things in this team, people who are seniors, could be knowledge wise or designation wise, they might not take it in a right way because they might feel that I might have control or over the team.
Yeah.
So that's a thing, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so good. You spoke about it. Can you hold on to it, because I am going to talk about conflict resolution and take that example and then tell you what can be done. Is this okay?
Yeah, fine, not a problem.
Wonderful. So nice of you. Thank you very much. So
thank you, brother.
As sister said, any amount of good, because it's a two-way street. I am good, but others might not be good. This is a conflict situation. So how do we address conflict? So let's see. So Sushmita, sister, according to you, what is conflict?
Conflict might be something where the opposite person is opposing to whatever you're saying.
Yeah.
It arises a conflict.
Yeah. So there are two conflicts, as you rightly said, sister. Interpersonal conflict and intrapersonal conflict. The conflict which I have with myself is called intrapersonal. The conflict which I have with others is interpersonal. Now, interpersonal conflicts happen when there are two individuals. For sure, there could be a conflict. Why? See, if goal is different, we might not have problem. Two people's goal is same, delivering the work. His approach and my approach are different. Conflicts. Yes or no? if two people goal are different, approaches are different, you're not bothered about it. But somehow you're tagged along with that person. You are in that team. Goal is one, ways approaches are different. It could lead to conflict. Now, classic example. This is what this is what Danish Center of Conflict Resolution is saying. So let's get into a conversation, Sushmita. Conflict happens when there is a disagreement, or could be on the goal itself, approaches itself, could be anything. Yes or no?
Yes, yes, sir.
And disagreement happens because we see things differently. Yes or no?
True. Or maybe when we want the thing to be happen differently.
Yeah. So why does this happen? Why people see things differently?
Maybe just before, as one of the sister has mentioned, like it could be like maybe the higher authority person is thinking that no, it should be done because I told, because I am your superior.
So it could be ego factor.
Yes.
Yes or no?
Being a dictator sort of.
Yeah, that kind of style, autocratic in approach. It could be his ego. It could be the fear of losing the team control.
Yes, yes.
And honestly speaking, one of the thing is because people are different. People see things differently because Sushmita can't understand the way I understand. Maybe it's not that complete. There are certain situations she might understand the way I understand. There are situations, certain situations you might not understand the way I understand. So because we are different, our backgrounds are different, our understanding is different. So disagreement happens. But now let's see if your disagreements do happen in relationships, but how you address this disagreement is important. If you don't address, it escalates into a conflict. Let's see the escalation here of the conflict. So when there is a disagreement, the next step people do is personification. Forget it is your fault. Because of you, it is happening. See, the difference is when somebody does the work, it is a work which is not good. It is not about the person. But we personalize and say, it is you. People get. When you personalize, what happens? The problem expands. And he says, this is not the first time. And you start digging and qualify. You start, substantiate what you said. And the problem starts expanding. And you know what happens when you personalize statements in front of others with others? Do they keep quiet? They forget about me. Do you think, are you good? Should I tell you how you did that work? And, escalation starts happening. The problem expands. And the next thing is because they are shouting, they don't have a proper dialogue. What is the use? It's bad speaking to you. They move away. And they create some enemy images. They talk to people, he is the worst guy. My manager, he's the culprit in the whole system. Enemy images are created. And when they come in contact, sometimes in another given situation, it's an open hostility. They end up fighting. And after that fight, complete polarization happens. I go my way, you go your way, I build up my team, you build up your team, I have my supporters, you have your supporters. It's a next level thing. This is how the conflicts get escalated. From disagreement to polarization. Just think about when I'm talking, when you're looking at this matrix or the image, think about what has happened in those relationships which are no good now. Right? When I say which are not, problematic relationships. Now, let's look at how to de-escalate this conflict. So, based on this escalation, I put across some thoughts here. The thoughts are this. Hey, first thing is, when there is a disagreement, look at the picture. There's one goal, people have different approaches. As I said, Sushmita and I are different. I might have different approaches. appreciate that disagreement, accept that disagreement and say, it's okay, it's common. When I say it's okay, I won't resist. I start thinking about what should be done so that we come together. Sushmita, is it making sense?
Yes.
So it's okay, yeah. Okay, fine, Sushmita, that's what you think. And this is what I'm saying. Let's see how we can arrive at a common solution is a better way. So when you start appreciating or accepting the disagreements, then we start focusing on the issue at hand, not at the person. Because you said, I know you're different, that's the reason you were saying, but this is the issue. How do we address this? From person, the issue is, the focus is onto issue. That's a good thing to happen. Now, when people start focusing on issues, they start becoming more solution oriented, not problem oriented, solution oriented. When you start thinking about solution, you start getting into dialogues. When I say dialogue, don't think of Balakrishna. This is a monologue. But Balakrishna says is monologue, one side. Dialogue is you say, you ask them, you discuss, have a conversation. So that kind of dialogue, yeah. I know I'm speaking to ladies group. None of you must be Balakrishna's fan. Yes or no, Sushmita?
Maybe I can't answer that question right now.
So, sometimes it happens, Balakrishna, we can't even answer. We are not too sure whether we are fans or not.
Exactly.
Yeah, on a lighter note, Sairam, let's continue. So when the dialogue continues, you start seeing some good in others and you develop a friendly image. And when you develop a friendly image, you start seeing point in each other, good points. You start appreciating each other. And when you start appreciating, it leads to unity. I'll pause here. I just want Sushmita to talk about it, her understanding.
The entire thing, like conflict resolution, that's what you meant, sir?
Sorry, yeah. So we are trying to understand conflict happens because of disagreements, and how you see the disagreement makes us, it creates a foundation whether we resolve it or not. If I see disagreement in this way, the image way, then I escalate it. If I see the disagreement with these points where I start saying it's okay, I appreciate you said that. That's your point of view, Sushmita, but this is what I'm saying. Can we look at and see how we can, help each other, how we can focus on making sure that we overcome this. So that kind of dialogue will help you resolve, create unity is what we are saying. Is it making sense, Sushmita?
Yes, sir. It's absolutely a very good way to resolve a conflict. And can I just add one small point here, or maybe share, like whether it is correct or not, I'm not sure.
Please go ahead.
Like you mentioned, like the initial point is like our goal is common, but we both have like different approaches, different strategies to reach that goal.
Right.
Here, I feel when the conflict arises, firstly, we should, we should try not to increase the conflict rather than, just making each other understand that when the goal is same, why are we like pushing ourselves towards conflict and making it more complicated?
Right.
So I felt like here that comes around third point, the solution oriented. So this probably can be taken up before itself, like when we try to understand, like why are we fighting, for where the conflict has come from.
Interesting, absolutely right. That's how the dialogue has to happen. Look at this picture, Sushmita. Goal is one. They understand the goal, but the approaches are different. So what you said is very pertinent. When you sit and say, hey, Sushmita, why we have this conflict? Because our approaches are different. But why we have to discuss? Because our goal is one. I want to arrive there. You also want to arrive there. But there is some, the way we are approaching is different. So let's discuss it out. So clarifying the goal itself in the initial stage is absolutely fantastic. You should be doing it. Good. Okay. So once you have this mindset of solution orientation, we can go towards using certain styles on resolving. Before that, I want you to read out, which is, can you read out, Sushmita? Okay, let me do this. Always respect another's opinion and another's point of view. Do not start a quarrel at the slightest difference of opinion. He may be right and you may be wrong. Ponder over his argument. He might have had the advantage of knowing more about the subject, or you may be prejudiced either for or against. Or he may not know as much as you. All differences of opinion are due to personal hatred, remember. So some kind of judgment, judgment we do, prejudgment we do can harm the whole relationship. So when there are disagreements, don't get hyper. How can you say, how can you disagree? How can you go that way? Is this the right way? No. Listen out, appreciate their difference, know their opinion, then tell about your opinion. That's how the dialogue should continue. That's what Swami is trying to help us understand through this saying. So with this, I'll just run through quickly. I have picked up a few common reasons for conflict with friends. So one of the reasons why we get into conflict is mistakes or accidents. The major reason at workplace in life is poor communication gap, miscommunication. Something to do with communication leads to conflict. Judgment about others, cultural differences, north to south, Telugu, Kannada, differences in values. My value is this, your value is this. Content, who said what, barriers, you don't hear, you have lack of empathy. Differences in goals, needs, expectations, personality clash, autocratic, submissive. So all these, reasons create conflict. Role pressures, fear, emotional issues, competition for resources, status inconsistency, task interdependency, because unless he completes, I cannot start and complete. Lack of clarity about responsibility. You don't know what you're supposed to do in your role. Lack of common performance standard in teams can lead to conflict. These are just, I've ran through some reasons, but remember, one of the most important reasons is lack of communication. Sushmita, do you know what happens especially during conflict? Whenever we have a conflict with any other person, the first thing we do is stop talking. You know what conflict says? If you're in conflict, if you want to resolve conflict, you should start talking, more talking. But we stop talking. So we do quite opposite. So when there is a conflict, accept, appreciate, and start talking. Try to resolve it. So, talk to resolve conflict. But issue-focused communication, telling the truth with compassion, the 3-step technique should happen in your communication, friends. So in the next 5 minutes, talking is very important. What should be your approach? I'm going to introduce 5 styles. Let's look at these 5 styles on how to resolve conflict, and then we'll conclude this session. First, identify the conflict, respond, and resolve. When I say resolve, talk. I'll just run through this because we already spoke about the conflict escalation. I will get you into the 5 steps of resolution. We saw the escalation. We said this has to be our mindset in resolving. Second, we discussed about what could be the reasons. Third, we said is you should talk. Fourth, we are saying what should be your approach to resolving conflict. Now, I want you to focus on this, friends. Next 5 minutes, complete focus. Interpersonal conflicts, there are two dimensions. One is concern for self. I have my concern, I have concern for others. During conflict, I have concern for self is high. My concern for self is high. My concern for others is, low. This high thing should be here. There's a mistake, but fine. So this end is low actually. If concern for self is high, concern for others is low at this end. This approach is called competing approach. If both are low, concern for self and others is low, this style of approach is called avoiding. We are avoiding the conflicts. If concern for others is high, this high would be here. If the concern for others is high, self is low during conflict resolution. This is called accommodating. If both are medium, this is called compromising or compromise. If both are high, your concern for self and others is high, it's called collaborate. Compete, avoid, accommodate, compromise, and collaborate. These are the 5 approaches we have to take during conflict resolution when you're trying to manage conflict. Sushmita, looking at the screen, what do you think could be an ideal one? What should be our approach towards resolving conflicts?
Avoiding conflict.
Yeah. So avoiding conflict is what Sushmita is saying. That's the best approach. Ideal one?
Collaborate.
Collaborate. Who is this? Okay, collaborate is our sister saying collaborate. So one sister is saying avoid. So ideal for me and you could be different. Okay, let's look at this. Behavioral scientists have given, assigned some animals so that we remember their these approaches. For competing, they said, shark, those shark in the sea. If you have seen the movies Jaws, Steven Spielberg's Jaws, what happens, whenever anything comes in contact with shark, they bite half inside, full inside, or, that's it. So they are like sharks. Avoiding is tortoise. When you hold a tortoise, what it does, it withdraws all its limbs into the shell. It's avoiding. Accommodation is koala bear. Koala bear, soft little, nice, cute animals, koala bear. Compromise, fox. Fox has an uncanny ability to live with a tiger as well as a deer with the same amount of ease. It can be here and there. Compromise. Collaboration is owl. Why collaboration is owl is because owl has a ability to rotate its neck, it seems, to 180 or, so 190 degrees or whatever it is, like this. So not this way or this way, the other way. Not your way, my way, the other way is called collaboration. So they said shark, turtle, fox, and owl, and we have koala bears. So just to remember the approaches. And let me tell you, Sushmita and other sister, there is no one ideal way. Our focus should be on collaboration, but based on the situation, we have to use any of these styles. So I just run through something which I captured here. You should use competing style when you have to make quick decision, especially in emergencies. Your decisive action is vital. You take a decisive action, especially in issues which are vital to organization. And when you are right. See, there could be a situation, it could be somebody who is telling his approach, but they don't know much, the right. You need not discuss too much. You don't have time to discuss and you have to do it. So put down your foot and say, no, please go ahead and do it. Let them do it. After doing it, go back to them and say, hey, maybe you might have felt otherwise, But that time there was no time, and hence I had to make you do this way. And you have seen the results, right? This is the right way of doing. Sorry if I made you feel otherwise. So this is what competing people have to do, after some time when they get the results. But when you don't have time, put your foot. But very, very few situations. What are the situations? When you know you are right, the other party is wrong. And when you don't have time to discuss, it's an emergency situation, compete, don't collaborate. But very few situations. When do you think you should avoid? When you have more bigger problems in life, when this conflict, even you resolve, there is no more benefits, more problem will happen. If you understand, please avoid. So you need not jump into all conflicts. Please avoid some conflicts if it doesn't give you the expected results. And if you have more bigger problems, focus on that. Accommodating. When do you think you should do accommodating is when you realize that somewhere you are wrong, when you know that the other person is right. That's one situation. Second is when you have time, it is not emergency, but you feel this person will learn only through experience, and you want him to experience good or bad, or good result or bad result, and you have stakes, low stakes there, you should allow that person to go with it. So accommodate. People request, you should accommodate sometimes. Most often in organization, you should compromise. Compromising is getting into an agreement. So Sushmita says one approach, I say one approach. I'll go to Sushmita and say, okay, Sushmita, this is a disagreement. Can we do one thing? Let's start the work. We'll go with your approach for 2 days. Let's see how the results are coming. If the results are good, let's continue your approach. Otherwise, after 2 days, if the results are not as expected, let's go with my approach. Let's view it for some time. If the results are good, let's continue my approach. And they start. If Sushmita's approach is giving us results, both of us would take up that. If Sushmita's approach is not giving results, then she'll be open to my idea. When I will put my approach and we work on it, if my approach is giving results, both of us would work. If even my approach is not giving results, now what happens? Both of us would be thinking about what should be the best approach, the next approach, the other approach. This is how compromising would lead to collaboration. How collaboration is happening? From compromising to collaboration. So when disagreements are strong, you should compromise. Get into smaller yes for a bigger yes. But focus should be always on collaboration. Most often you should compromise to collaborate. But in certain situations, specific situation, you can compete, avoid, accommodate, and compromise. But most often compromise to collaborate, or you can directly collaborate thinking about the best solution. So Sushmita, I just wanted to know, did you understand what we are discussing here?
Yes, sir. It's completely like based upon the situation in which we are to tackle that.
Yeah. So nothing is global here, nothing, not collaboration always. Collaboration you might not do in an emergency situation when the other person is not accepting. Put your foot down, When you have a lot of time, you want him to experience, there are no issues also, give him, accommodate. When you think it is worth not discussing, don't discuss, avoid. But most often compromise to collaborate. So friends, this is what I just wanted to share on conflict resolution. So understand these 5 approaches. In any given approach, conversation should be issue focused. The 3-step technique to handle disagreements, the assertiveness technique is a communication tool. And this way we can resolve the conflicts. Now I'll go back to the sister who brought out a conflict. Now the senior is not allowing or accommodating what I'm saying, which is right. So I'm doing something good for the team, but he's not accepting. Especially how you speak to authority should be little different. Now, before And if it has happened once, that's fine. If it is happening second time, you should sit down and ask yourself a question. Hey, because of his non-acceptance, is it impacting in any way? Two ways it can impact: the results and yourself. If it is impacting and you are feeling bad about it, and this is saying go and talk to that person about the situation. But if it is not impacting, but is not affecting, you're not bothered about it, leave it. But if it is affecting, you should go and talk. But when you go and talk, you should first write down and create evidences. You should be clear with facts in front of you. Take time with that person, senior, and tell him, sir, ma'am, I want to discuss something. I think you can be the best person who can help me in the situation. See, the choice of words are very different. And that's how you go and say, ma'am, this is what I've been doing in the past with the team, and this would help me give good results. However, this approach is not accepted. I just wanted to know the reason why it is not accepted so that I can change my ways, or I need your help so that I can understand what could be the better way of handling. Can you help me in this regard? Now, this is how I go and put across my message to that senior. I wouldn't go and say, sir, I'm doing good to the team, but you are not accepting. You're always creating, you're saying no. These are blaming and accusations. That's not the way you speak to the seniors. Use a lot of I statement. I go and say, sir, I have an issue. I think you are the best person who can help me in this situation. The situation is, this is the approach. This is how I am handling the team feeling. And I strongly feel that this can give me, great results. However, it has been not accepted. So I just wanted to know why it is not accepted so that I can change my ways, or else tell me what is the best way so that I can do that way. Now you're putting the ball in his court, but you're not saying it. You are saying it is not accepted. You say by who? I saw that, it is not accepted by you, sir. So then let him say what he has to say. But this could be a dialogue which can open a lot of possibility. It can go in a negative way or a positive way, but it will open up possibilities. You are saying, I believe it can give results. Tell me the reason why I shouldn't be doing, or else if you don't want me to do this, tell me what are the better ways. You're putting the ball. If he's giving you better ways of than this, accept and go ahead. If he's not giving you tangible reasons why this can't be done, then you can extend the dialogue and tell him and take his commitment that allow me to do this so that I can generate what the results you're accepting. This is how we can have a dialogue with. But there's still possibilities. He might be as rude as possible and say, shut up your mouth, whatever I say, that is what you are supposed to do. So go back, think again. Now you have two choices in front of you. Should you go back and talk about this incident to the next level? And if you speak to the next level, what can happen? There could be negative consequences also. If the negative consequence happens, are you able to cope with that? Is what we need to check. If you think that negative consequence I can't cope, but this I can cope, then continue and learn some stress management techniques to manage your stress. But if you feel this I can't cope, but any negative consequence I'm ready to cope, go and talk again to the skip level in a better way. This is how you should approach conflicts. But let me tell you, friends, you cannot, I'll give you a couple of tips. In the tips, you'll be able to understand. But I'll pause here. I just wanted to get a consent from the sister who raised this, shared this incident. Is it making sense, sister?
Sairam brother, yes, I feel like, okay, as you informed, possibilities are there. Once I talk to them like openly, like what are the possibilities to get accepted?
Yeah. See, when there is an issue, putting on the table can help us. But before putting the table with others, we have to be clear. Should I want to do it? If I do it, if it resolves, fine. If it doesn't get resolved, would I be able to cope with those negative consequences? You should be thinking about it. Make up your mind and go into the dialogue in a very fruitful way or a issue focused way. This is what I wanted to say. Quickly, I'll wind up. I think I overshoot the time taken. I'll just take 5 minutes and wind up. Before that, remember these tips for conflict resolution. This, you have to remember these tips. First thing, not all conflicts can be resolved in this world. You have 10 conflicts, even these solutions you might not be able to. 20% of conflicts you'll not be able to resolve, because I'll tell you why. But 80% if you are able to resolve, that's good enough for you. The second tip is, because conflict resolution happens when there is willingness from both the parties. You should be ready, he should be ready. That's when you will be able to resolve. Right? So first tip is, not all conflicts can be resolved. Second is, conflict resolution can happen only when the willingness is there from both the parties. Third is, conflict resolution happens when we discuss, when we have a effective dialogue, when we have a issue focused conversation. For that reason, we should talk sensible. And when we do that, there's a great chance of resolving conflicts. This is what I just wanted to say in today's session. But the last step is celebrating success. What is celebrating success? Have some celebrations with team when you achieve certain things. Celebration need not be a party. Go and congratulate something. Write a mail upstairs about your team member saying he was awesome in doing this work, and patting on someone's back. These are all celebrations in teams, and this is how you demonstrate 7 steps to create synergy, friends. So I'll just what I do is I just want to pause for 20 seconds if you have something. Otherwise, I'll recap and then conclude the session. So for creating synergy, I'll do this recap, friends. We started the story saying hell and heaven, and we said, we don't know whether there is hell or heaven. We can create hell or heaven when we are working with people. If you want to create heaven, we said the 7 steps of creating synergy, and that's have a checklist. Am I clear about the goal? Am I clear about my role? Am I knowing the rules? Am I adhering to the rules? Am I building trust by depositing those wonderful things in emotional bank accounts? And am I clearly communicating issue focused communication, 3-step technique of assertiveness? Am I resolving the conflicts using the conflict escalation, de-escalation approach, understanding the reasons, and very important, taking those 5 approaches based on the conflict situation and remembering the 3 steps. Not all conflicts can be resolved. Conflicts can be resolved only when there is willingness from both the parties. And the conflicts, if you have to resolve, or if we have to resolve, we should talk sense. Issue focused conversation can help resolve conflicts, and celebrate success with people by patting their back. And in relationships, if you want to make a relationship strong, and this is what Swami is saying, 2 things are very important: understanding others and adjusting our viewpoints can help build relationships with people. And this is how we create a synergy at workplaces, friends. So thank you very much. It has been wonderful to facilitate this session on how to create a synergy at workplaces. Jai Sai Ram, over to you.
Sairam sir, that was indeed a really wonderful session of how teamwork works a lot, and also how we should behave when we are working with the team. Thank you so much for being with us, sir. It's a pleasure to have you with us for these wonderful sessions, including last week and this week as well. Thank you so much, sir, once again. Thank you, sir. I thank the organizers, Pawan brother and Shravan brother, for organizing this value-added sessions as a part of the course. And I thank all the participants for being with us. I thank Swami profusely for allowing us for these wonderful sessions as a part of the course. Thank you, Swami. Thank you all. This is an announcement for all the students. All can log in through the Microsoft user ID that is shared in your respective groups for today's session at 5 o'clock. It will start in 10 minutes, so all of you can have a quick break and join back. Sai Ram. We'll conclude with Shanti Mantra. Om Shanti Shanti.